Welcome to the Postgame show, everybody. All right, that's it. That's my welcome. Okay, we have.
I asked her to intro it.
Welcome to the Postgame, everybody.
There you go.
Okay, so we have a lot of fun. Actually produced for you. We produced the Postgame today. Not that we don't produce other times, but we did more production this time. But okay, hold. Before we get to it, I just want to make a quick point about an underrated response to difficult situations that I've learned through The Sopranos. What are you gonna do is the best response when you don't know what to say, right? I just said it to you when you asked me a question and I didn't have an answer, and what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
It's the best answer. Because it just, like, that's it. I mean, the person usually doesn't continue asking more questions.
Yeah, so, but now I'm Cenk, so you started me on a tangent, and then we'll get to, okay, real quick. I was just having a conversation with my kids over the weekend about, it's funny the things that you remember. I was remembering back to my grandparents' house, and I was there a million times, but I only remember like 10 or 12 things. And it's like weird the things that you remember. I remember their phone was red. I remember their second bathroom smelled bad. I remember that their comforter looked like the most stylish thing I'd ever seen in my life, and I thought they were fancy because of that.
Look at you having a taste for interior design.
And so from The Sopranos, one of the things that I always remember is Paulie Walnuts, which is like the greatest name ever, talking about how he doesn't like to tie his shoelaces because you go to the urinals and everybody's pissing all over the place. You see that? And it jumps onto your shoelaces. I don't want to touch that.
He's so right, though. He's so right.
Yeah.
This is why people have to take their shoes off when they come into my place, specifically men, because men are gross.
That's funny. If you notice now, this is going to be funny. There's 4 scatological things that I remember. I don't know if it's a thing, right? Because from Howard Stern, I just realized the one thing that I always remember is that he always said like, oh, if you had to go to the bathroom after a shower, he would have to shower again. And I was like, really? Like, and so
like he goes number 2.
Yeah, I guess Howard Stern showers after every time he goes number 2, right?
That's insane. That's
yeah, totally insane, right? I think, right? So then I remember Oprah once talking about toilet paper and whether you should roll it this way or that way. And that's the one thing I remember from any Oprah I've ever watched.
So that actually, there is an important distinction. There is a correct way if you're a lady.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You roll it down.
Okay, I don't know. We don't need to get into it right now, right? But there's a more sanitary, hygienic way of doing it.
And this will be the one thing you'll remember from this otherwise great postgame.
Okay, so let's get to the story. This week, conservatives had a number of stupid tweets. In fact, today, there were a number of stupid tweets that we're gonna share with you. One of them came from Ivanka Trump, and it was in response to the fact that Boris Johnson might become or is likely to become the next prime minister. She writes, quote, "Congratulations, Boris Johnson, on becoming the next prime minister of the United Kingston."
Well, maybe he thought that Boris is going to move down to Jamaica and unite all the good folks of Kingston.
I know I'm pretty, but come on.
Yeah, okay, oh yeah, we should show the tweet. And eventually me, but I actually think that like of all the Trump misspellings in that family, it's like the mildest one.
She's a White House official. Let's move on to the next one. This is from Tony Schaefer. Keep in mind, real Donald Trump actually came up to speak with the Juan Williams, I guess that's Juan Williams' Twitter account, and me at Fox News unprompted just to talk to us. He would not have done that if he hated blacks or Juan. Juan even took this picture of the president and I. Juan is spouting absolute nonsense.
What? First of all, there's not even a black person in that picture. He's like a black person took this picture so Trump couldn't be racist.
Yeah.
That's the new standard.
No.
That's the new standard. Look, I did it with the Ivanka tweet, but you and I were talking about it off air earlier, Anna, where with it's the old George W. Bush quote. The trick is to keep your expectations low, right?
Yeah.
And he brings down his expectations. Bush did, so it was much easier to clear them. Same with the Republicans. Like after all of her dad's insane misspellings of Al Qaeda and Marine Corps and everything else on the planet, Boston Red Sox and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Her misspelling seems benign in comparison.
No, you're right. You're right. It does seem benign in comparison. Still, you expect a little better from her, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because he's like, her dad is insane.
And stupid, but I get it. But like, one of the reasons you expect that is because she went to Penn. She went to a good school, right?
I actually don't expect that because she went to Penn. Remember, you and I had a conversation. This was prior to me debating Ann Coulter because I had stupidly panicked myself. Like I became panicked because I thought, oh my God, she went to an Ivy League and I went to a state school. Even though I know the facts are on my side, maybe she's more clever than me, maybe she's smarter than me. And then I realized, no, first of all, if your family is in a privileged position, you just get in, right? You just get in. That's what happens if you're.
I thought the story was leading to a place where I give you good advice.
No, but then you gave me the good advice.
Oh,
you're like, don't worry about her fancy law degree. I think from Cornell.
I think she went undergrad at Cornell.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I destroyed her in that debate.
No, you did.
Yeah.
No, look, that's what I was going to get to that, which is that. You're like Trump, went to Penn because his dad got him in. It's the most obvious thing in the world. He hides his grades, they're so bad. He sued people who to threaten them, or he threatened to sue people to make sure that his grades never got out. You know that, right? But then you think like, oh, but Ivanka went to Penn when Penn's a really great school and it was harder to cheat your way in. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course you got into Penn because he's Trump's daughter. Of course, right? And Jared Kushner went to Harvard. His dad had to give $2 million to Harvard to get him in. Oh, it's so embarrassing, man.
So embarrassing.
Yeah. Did your parents have to bribe the school you went to? No, right? No. And anyway.
The only thing my parents felt the need to do was ban me from applying to any out-of-state schools or any school that would require me to move out of my parents' house. Which, by the way, at the time I was a little bitter about. But now I'm so grateful because I saved so much money.
Well, so that's interesting. Maybe in another postgame I have a discussion about you because you got into USC.
Yeah, but USC totally screwed me over because I really wanted to go to USC. I had convinced myself that if I ended up going to a state school, no one would end up hiring me. My job interview here at TYT was Dave on the phone asking me if I was willing to come in at 3 in the morning. Didn't care if I went to school, where I went to school, didn't matter. But anyway, but I knew my family couldn't afford USC, so I went to community college and high school at the same time, got 2 years done by the time I graduated high school, and the plan was to transfer 2 years of college credits to USC, so I'd only have to pay for 2 years of undergrad, and they were like, no. You have to retake all of these classes. Whereas CSUN was like, not only will we transfer all of your classes, we're gonna give you a full ride and we're gonna pay you for your books and any type of expenses that you need.
See, I'm not sure that I knew that full story. So my dad being obsessed with education would have been like, no, we pay for USC, you retake all classes, take double them. We go stay for 8 years, okay? Why did I give my dad the Trump hands? I'm so sorry, Dad. Okay. As I was doing that invitation. Yeah. Anyway, and he's like, if I got into a school that was ranked one spot higher, that was halfway across the world, he'd be like, you go there, it is ranked higher.
Yeah, it's weird, because like our parents have a lot of similarities, but in that area, they're so different. My parents, if I got into Harvard, my mom would be like, so what? CSUN's just as good. Like 100%.
Oh, my dad would have like shivved me. I mean, I would have bled out if I, rejected Harvard to go somewhere else. Yeah. I mean, look here, a quick story, and then okay. So, I got into a bunch of law schools, and I was seeing Columbia at the time was ranked number 4, NYU was ranked number 5, and I was. And they're both great schools. NYU's more fun, and it's in a better part of New York, et cetera. And I'm like, Dad, they're both top 5. So he's like, what, you crazy? Columbia ranked 4, NYU ranked 5. Go to Columbia. Like, he's like, where's the question? Okay, he didn't understand what I was talking about. He's like, of course you go to Columbia, right? And so for him, I mean, no way. If I'd gotten into Stanford, which was ranked number 3, People are like, off you go. I'll help you pack your bags. Okay, who cares? So, but you know what? Thank God you went to CSUN.
I'm so happy I did.
No, forget you and your life and how it affected you. Let's talk about how it affected me. Okay, because if you'd gone to USC, you would have gone to school for an extra year, had a complete 2 years, completely different trajectory, and you never would have worked here.
100%. And I was so lucky. And I remember when it hit me that I would not be able to go to USC. Like I was so devastated, and I thought my future was over.
Over. Yeah,
it's
such a classic Anna Kasparian pessimism. No, my career's over. It's over. Anyway, let's pack it up. Okay.
Like no one's gonna want to hire someone who went to CSUN. And then I said, I know, I was crazy, and I thought, I don't know, I thought all these things that aren't true, right? And look, it really depends on what you want to do with your career. So if you want to be a lawyer, then it does unfortunately matter which school you go to.
Actually, that one is true.
Yeah.
Okay, undergrad doesn't matter that much. You can make arguments, whatever. And there's two different things, guys. Does it matter in getting hired, right? And does it matter if in actually doing the job? It almost doesn't matter at all in doing the job, right? In getting hired, it matters a little bit depending on the job you're going for. But in law, they're very like the best jobs go to the top schools. Yes. They really do. And then once you get past the really good jobs, then it gets really tough out there, right? And so,
Cenk, I got so lucky. You have no idea how lucky I got. Sorry, I know I just interrupted your point about. No, like for so many different reasons. Like I graduated undergrad in 2007, right before the economic collapse. Do you understand how big that is? Like I graduated with my undergrad degree before state schools got massively defunded and tuition massively went up. And because of that, because I was like, they gave me a full ride and I had a job. I was still working at a coffee shop. And so I saved a bunch of money. And so I had savings when I graduated from undergrad. And then I was able to apply and get accepted for my graduate degree. And I finished by 22.
Yeah.
God, so lucky,
Nerd.
so lucky. I like didn't even realize how lucky I was until this very moment.
Yeah, look, you wound up here, so everything's a God bless. But if you can and you can afford it, which is a whole giant if now, go with the whole 4 years of undergrad. It's fun. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
No, I mean, I definitely have moments where I'm like, what? But why? Why was I in such a rush to like be an adult and have a job? But
I teach my kids all the time, being an adult sucks.
It does suck, yeah.
It's like soak in being a kid. Anytime they're like griping about not being an adult, I'm like, here's the electric bill. I want you to use all the points you have in paying it. And they're like, no, okay, I'm having fun.
Totally.
All is good, Baba. Totally. Okay. Anyways, back to these guys. Look, the hilarious thing about, well, I mean, Trump likes Fox News. Juan Williams works at Fox News, and Juan Williams once took a picture of Trump. So obviously Trump can't be racist. That I don't think you even cleared the low bar.
Why do they care so much about trying to like stretch and prove that Trump is not a racist? Like he's racist. Like just let's move on with our life. You're racist too. All right, you're racist too.
Of course, that's why they care.
I know.
You know what the funny thing is? Maybe they'll get to a point where they'll let it go and be like, wait, Anna's right. So what if we're racist? Yeah, I am, right?
Just it's liberating to accept the reality of who you are. You're crap and you're racist. So just own it.
So they accept every part of it except the word, because the word triggers them.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so let's get to my favorite part. So Dave Rubin has a failed comedy career. We all know that. And he also failed in growing a show when he was trying to do left-wing politics. And so then he became this giant grifter and is a Coke-funded shill. Anyway, so he likes to characterize people on the left now. And so he tried to do it in a comedy way, which fell flat.
No, Dave, with a joke that fell flat, can't be.
Guys, I was just going to get my vagina waxed, and the white man, suspected Nazi, at the vagina waxing shop told me to, quote, go back to where I came from. Where do I report this? That was his funny tweet.
Look, hold on, leave it up, because I'm trying to understand it. I swear to God, I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Let's take more time to think about Dave Rubin's vagina.
Okay, hold on. I got my vagina waxed, and the white man at the vagina waxing shop told me to go back to where I came from. Where do I? Okay, the suspected Nazi, I get it, because he's saying, haha, every white man is a suspected Nazi. That's how liberals think, even though I'm a classic liberal. I got that part.
Do white men or do men wax vaginas? Is that a thing?
And why go back to where I came from for Dave, who's white? And what does it have to do with vaginas?
It's just ideas.
Man, they got to turn he's got to turn the dial of ideas back down to
cold. If the dial of ideas was turned to low for the last few years, it's quickly moving into the hot position.
I think you got to take it out of the hot position, Dave, because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. No, I'm not kidding. I don't know. Do you guys know what he meant?
I don't know. I have no idea. That was a pretty sad attempt at a joke. That ideas quote that we like to play, that was in a script. Like he read that on a prompter.
Yeah.
So like that was proofread.
Yeah.
And someone thought, because I don't know if he wrote, I doubt it, right? He didn't do any work here. I doubt that he does any work now. Like someone thought, oh no, this is a good idea.
The dial of ideas should be turned from low to hot, because that's a thing.
So Michael Brooks and I think that his husband is undermining him.
On purpose, because his husband's actually a good person.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, we could be wrong, but like.
No, of course it's not true.
Okay,
but anyway, yeah.
My favorite part, real quick, was so the Humanist Report. He's also on YouTube. He's a progressive content creator. So he responded to Dave Rubin's ridiculous joke or attempt at a joke with a screenshot from Paul Joseph Watson. And I just love this. This is what Paul Joseph Watson, who I believe works at InfoWars, wrote. The right is starting to get better at comedy, and it's making lefties nervous.
The dial of comedy has gone from low to hot all of a sudden.
My brain is still in recovery mode from taking in so many high-level important ideas.
No, but I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna throw us under a bus here because, and I feel bad. Hold on, I feel bad admitting this, but back when Dave worked here, no one thought he was funny, and we were,
Cenk, what happened? Like, but you're right. I'm gonna throw myself under the, like, I'm embarrassed that he was my friend. Like, how did I not know? What did we talk about? What did we talk about other than him constantly complaining that he thought he wasn't getting paid enough for doing his little 30-minute show once a week?
Okay, anyways, no, look, he was a pleasant enough guy before he became a grifter. But we would, and this is why I'm throwing us under a bus, and I do feel a little bit bad about it back then, because back then we didn't dislike him and he didn't dislike us. We would say behind his back, like,
you would?
Comedy with the comic? Like no one here had ever heard him say anything funny ever.
So I'm not gonna name names because I don't know if he's comfortable with me naming names, but there was one person here who was sounding the alarms from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you're just bitter. Like, I just kind of discounted it. Mm-hmm. But I knew, because the criticism was, he doesn't know anything, why is he in first hour panels? And he's not funny, why do we keep referring to him as a comedian?
Yeah, no, too many people call themselves comedians. Let's just be honest about that. Mm-hmm. It's not just about Dave. But anyway.
So let's talk about comedians a little bit.
Okay, yes, because you know why, Anna, I want to talk about it? Because I'm getting a little nervous.
So let's talk about conservative comedy. So back in the day, Fox, I don't know, they might still have the show. Can we check? But I remember this was a show back in the day when I first started working at TYT, and you guys used to clown on them all the time. It was the half-hour news hour on Fox.
Oh, no, that lasted about a half an hour.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I mean, they canceled it like right away. They're like, ooh, this is super embarrassing. Let's get rid of it.
So you're about to see why. Full disclaimer or disclosure, we haven't seen these videos ahead of time. They wanted us to react to them in a fresh way.
Okay, well, let's turn it up then.
Welcome to the half-hour news hour, the show that delivers an hour's worth of news in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. I'm Kurt McNally.
And I'm Jennifer Lang.
Tonight's top story, dispelling reports that she would staff her White House with longtime cronies and political appointees. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton vowed that if she becomes president, she will surround herself with a diverse, multi-ethnic, multi-generational group of angry lesbians.
conditions on the ground there?
Well, as you can see, last week's tornado has moved on, and now comes the hard part, figuring out how to blame this tragedy on President Bush.
All right. Now, if you read the papers or watch TV, you've noticed that more and more world problems are being linked to global warming.
It's a little more than just a theory right now. I've discovered that any problem facing the world today can be linked to global warming in 6 steps or less. I call it 6 degrees of global warming.
I'm getting really nervous.
Yeah, oh my God. I think they might be really funny. By the way, even if the right wing was funny, why would that make us nervous? What a weird.
I don't know, because they're obsessed with the culture wars, right? That's what it is.
Yeah,
and
it's projection, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, oh, I know why exactly. Of course, it's projection. So they are so insecure that the left wing is funny, entertaining, smart. Because being funny is to some degree being smart.
Oh,
right?
100%. 100%. The best comedians are insanely intelligent and very well read, up on current events. Those are the best comedians. I mean, look at Jon Stewart. He was so funny. He was so good that people went to him for journalism.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes really smart guys can make really good puns too, I hear.
Okay, so before we go to more videos, by the way, who am I to talk? I'm the one who came up with
Chucky sneezes or Chucky pleases.
Okay, so
Chucky teases. Okay.
Before we get to the rest of the videos, IMDb gave the half-hour news hour 2.6 out of 10. TV.com gave them a 5.8 out of 10. That was the highest rating, and then Metacritic gave them 13%.
No, I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you because the 5.8 is by critics who are like, well, I got to keep it balanced, and they're going to yell at me if I give too low a score. IMDb didn't give them anything. IMDb is just viewers. That's just people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's and it's a lot of people that vote, and so the IMDb score I look at more than I look at Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or anything else, because that's real human beings. And so real humans watch that, probably including conservatives, are like, no, the idea of comedy has been turned all the way to low.
Very low.
Right.
It's extra chilly. All right, let's go to the next clip.
You're a liberal Democrat, a committed feminist, and you know that America is ready for a woman president. But you're not sure that Hillary Clinton is that woman. You're anxious, conflicted. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping or you're experiencing mood swings. You want a woman to be president so badly that even Rosie O'Donnell is starting to make sense. If these symptoms sound familiar, you could be suffering from HAS, Hillary ambivalence syndrome, an anxiety disorder that affects up to 1 in 3 Democrats, which is why we developed OxyClinton.
Hi, I'm Dennis Prager, lover of fine Americana. The day America finally calls it quits in Iraq will be a day we'll all want to remember, and now you can. Thanks to the Road to Surrender commemorative plate series by the Frankfurt Mint. The Road to Surrender series is a magnificent collection of beautifully illustrated, signed, and numbered hand-fired plates, elegantly commemorating each step on America's road to humiliating defeat in Iraq.
Hey, motherfucker, how did Iraq work out for you? Piece of shit.
Yeah. No,
Jesus Christ.
I've stopped getting nervous. Okay, no, seriously, it's like intensely unfunny. If anything can be intensely unfunny or uninteresting, they nailed it.
Yeah, the only part of that video that was even a little entertaining was OxyClinton, but that was it. Like, it wasn't even funny. It was like, oh, a nice little play on words there. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
but that was it.
So to that point, Hillary ambivalence syndrome makes no sense.
None. Zero.
Like, it doesn't make sense rationally. It doesn't make sense from a point of humor. It's not an opposite. It's not anything. It's ironically ambivalent, right? But like, why did they write that down and think that that was funny? Like, what is wrong with them? There's like, because here's the thing, coming up with jokes, on a regular basis is really hard. And I've told this story before. I was a TV writer. I did comedy for a brief period of time. Well, to be fair to me, Ben, see, that's funny. Anyway,
we're not laughing with you.
Yeah, we're with you. Okay, anyways, when Ben and I wrote the show together at Whammy, that was often very funny, and I think we were a great collaboration, etc. But when they said write jokes, funny man, on a comedy show,
yeah.
Oh God, that was hard.
No, I would crash and burn. Like there's no question.
But I would have rather not turned anything in than turn in Hillary ambivalence syndrome.
100%.
Because it's not a joke. Then I mean, you would leave if you turn in nothing. There's still a mystery about you. Like, oh, maybe he's funny, but he doesn't want to. Maybe he's too cool. He's above the crowd. Maybe this, maybe that. You turn in Hillary ambivalence syndrome. Like, oh no, we got to find this guy tonight. Tonight. Okay, like gone, like this. And they put that on TV. God damn, they're unfunny.
So apparently we have one more video.
Why not affliction? I mean, that's not that funny either, but at least it makes a little bit more sense. Hillary affliction syndrome. I mean, I can in 5 minutes I can come up with 17 A words that make more sense. But why does it have to be HAS anyway?
Yeah, these are the people in charge, by the way.
And I was writing down, oh my God, that's Laura Ingram's voice. And then it turns out she was even on camera. And back then she wasn't on Fox News. So that was her trying to get her way into Fox News.
Mission accomplished, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
All right, one more video.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
My fellow Americans, good evening. With last fall's bitter recount behind us, my Democratic opponent, Howard Dean, finally getting the medical attention he has so desperately needed for so long, we move forward as a nation. Yes, Rosemary.
Mr. President, the Vice President is here.
Oh, great. Send the Vice President in, please.
Mr. President.
Madam Vice President, welcome to the Oval Office. Great column this week.
Thank you.
You like to join me in a cigar?
Isn't the White House a smoke-free zone?
Not anymore. Yes, Rosemary.
Mr. President, Nancy Pelosi on line 1.
Pelosi? How did she get this number? Well, take a message.
Oh my God, it's over. Okay.
Didn't he lose his hearing from taking too much like OxyContin? And like he shouldn't bring up anyone seeking medical attention ever.
But to be fair, he might have Hillary ambivalence syndrome, and that's why he had to take OxyContin.
See, that was way more funny. No, it was good.
No, So, but there was one slightly amusing thing there, which is, and the crowd laughed along. Rush Limbaugh being president, Ann Coulter being vice president. That's preposterous.
Is it though?
But back then it might have seemed preposterous, but now an even bigger clown got into office. And I'm not kidding, like Rush Limbaugh is a terrible guy. We've gone over it a million times, but does he know more about policy than Trump? Absolutely. Does he know more about politics than Trump? Absolutely. I mean, I know it's the lowest bar in the world, and Limbaugh might barely clear it. He might, or limbo under it. Okay. See, that would have gotten a half-hour news hour,
but that would
right?
still be funnier than what they came up with.
Right. Anyway, seriously, no, we got a reality show host. We got an absolute buffoon. And then Ann Coulter wound up saying, like, in Trump we trust. She wrote the book, and she turned. I mean, now we got all depressed watching their comedy.
No, why?
Hey guys, briefly going back to the last clip. The audience wasn't laughing at them. It was a laugh track. Trust me. That is a laugh track, totally.
Yeah, that's true.
That was amazing. I didn't know we had that. And who did that? Is that you, Brett? I don't know, but that was incredible.
No, the picture of Bart coming into the clouds while he's talking is infinitely funnier than anything that show on Fox News ever did.
100%.
All right.
That's it.
I'm serious. That comedy show kind of depressed me.
That's right. Yeah. Just bring the laughs, lightening the load. That's my job.
Although I might have BAS, Bart ambivalence syndrome.
No, Bart's so funny. He's making conservatives nervous.
Poor conservatives. Poor conservatives. Okay.
Are things gonna get better, Cenk? Tell me they're gonna get better. Because like, I can't stop thinking about Tater's gonna Tate. I just can't.
That's so funny that you're obsessed with that.
I don't want to believe that people are that stupid. In the types of positions that they're working in, Tater's gonna Tate. How did you think that was real? How did this happen?
Yeah. Look, most likely Trump is gonna get slaughtered in the elections. I think still there's about a 50% chance, if not greater, that a progressive is gonna win. No, I'm gonna say greater, but not by much. 51, 52% chance that a progressive is gonna win, Sanders or Warren. And so there's a lot to be hopeful about. But lately I've been a little, not depressed, I'm never depressed, but like pessimistic / angry about whether the progressive candidates and the progressives in Congress are going to challenge their colleagues. And if they don't, I buy into the gaslighting of like, oh, you're being offensive to your colleagues by actually fighting for your voters. Well, then we're never going to get anything done. So, and imagine if we have a Democratic president that sits on their hands for 4 years.
Oh my God. No, and all right, Bernie needs to wake the fuck up. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I tried my best to hold out, but I can't do it anymore. He's my top candidate, right? I like Warren too, but there's one candidate who's been right and consistent his entire career, and that's Bernie Sanders, period, right? But I'm so irritated with how quiet he's been, right? Like, yeah, he's pushing policies, he's fighting back a tiny bit here and there, maybe a little, but no. What happened? Going guns blazing. What is happening right now?
But
it's
actually,
making me mad.
But guys, if you think about it, and Anna, if you think about it, Bernie's never been guns blazing. Never.
It's a giant weakness, and I feel like this time around he's even more subdued.
But let me be clear though, because it's not exactly right. When you see those fiery speeches in Congress, that's guns blazing. When you see his policies, that's guns blazing. When he chains himself to African Americans to protest discrimination and segregation, that's guns blazing, right? But when it comes to his colleagues, he historically has not been guns blazing. That's true. Why he's very subdued in debates, because it would mean challenging his colleagues.
God, what are you doing, Bernie? This is it. This is go time. You're so right, Cenk. There's that issue, and then there's also the issue of him getting punched in the face on a regular basis by the media, and he's not punching back.
He does it in his own way. Of course I would do it more, but anyway, look, Chuck Schumer is not your friend. He literally goes to dinners plotting your demise. That's a fact reported by the New York Times, okay? So he goes to dinner with donors. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi both do, talking about how it can't be Bernie and that they plot against him. He's not your fucking friend. He's the exact goddamn opposite. I don't care if he calls himself your colleague. So if you don't have a plan to break Chuck Schumer, we're not gonna get anything done. So that's why I'm frustrated these days. And you know, I don't know that Warren has a plan to break Chuck Schumer. I mean, it's easy to take a couple of pot shots at Manchin, and we'll see if they live up to that. But Manchin isn't the heart of the problem. Manchin's on the periphery, right?
Yep.
If Manchin was the only problem, it's easier to isolate him and pressure him. But if you're not willing to take on Michael Bennet, you're not willing to take on Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, we're not going to get any bills passed. And that's
you gotta look. You gotta develop some Kamala in you. You know what I'm saying?
In terms of fighting spirit and willing to take on people.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
That is a winning strategy. Kamala, I mean, she was buddy with Biden. It didn't stop her from punching him in the face in the first debate. Yeah. And it helped her numbers. Bernie's got to wake up. He's got to realize that what he did last time with trying to be polite, it didn't work. It didn't work in making friends, that's for sure, because the Hillary camp turned around and smeared you like crazy anyway, right? They don't like you, but we do. We want you to fight for us. It's not about making friends, it's about fighting for us.
All right, last thing, guys. Look, behind the scenes, for whatever it's worth, trust me that I'm working overtime to try to get that message to every one of our allies. You gotta fight them. They're never gonna agree with you. And being polite to them is a trap. Civility, in a sense, is a trap.
Absolutely.
Okay, it protects the status quo. Don't fall into that trap. Wish me luck, wish us luck in getting that message across. And I'll tell you, if one of the two presidential candidates makes it into the general, they're crazy if they don't unleash us. They should have me and Anna and Kyle Kalinske and John and so many others. John's too nice. John's wonderful on the policies, but as surrogates or whatever it is, and they should unleash us, right? Because we'll go fucking break some kneecaps and
move some furniture around.
That's right, move the goddamn furniture. So if we're gonna get anything done, we gotta take out corporate Democrats first in the primary, then obliterate Trump, obliterate him, okay? And then go in with a giant mandate and intimidate the other corporate Democrats already in Congress.
And we know they're intimidatable.
Yes, but you gotta have the balls to do it, and you gotta have the right strategy. Anyway, wish us luck. All right, guys, we got Old School coming up. Me and Mark Thompson are gonna do that in about 20 minutes or so, okay? So all you members come back for that. All right, we'll see you there.